Based on that, I kind of narrow it down to the top 10 high percentage gainers. Then I'll look at the news. What is this running on? Is it up on like an FDA news? Is it up on, merger? Is it up on they cured cancer? Is it no news? Or is it a news that they released 2, 3 weeks ago? So that narrows it down to maybe like 5 or 6 different stocks. Then what I do is I look at the daily chart. I look to see what is the pattern on the daily chart. What I've found that I make the most money on is the stocks that wick up and wick down the same day. So these are stocks that go up and go down the same day. History tends to repeat itself. So I look for stocks that gap up, gap down, or an overall downtrending stock. If I'm seeing a stock that's maybe doing like multi-month breakout or whatever, disqualified. So I'm looking for stocks that have downtrends on the daily chart and looking for stocks that tend to give back their gains on day one. And you can see that very clearly by high wick up and wick down on the daily chart. So of those 6 stocks, narrows it down to maybe like 3 or 4. After the 3 or 4, then what I do is I look at the filings. Are they highly dilutive stocks? Are they low float stocks? Do they need money? Do they need cash? Whatever. That narrows it down to maybe 1 or 2. Then what I do is I look at the pre-market chart. What is the pre-market chart doing? Is it a stock that's continuing to make higher lows pre-market, or is it a stock that topped out and starting to slowly make its way down? I look for the stocks that slowly make its way down. That narrows it down to maybe, let's say, one or 2, depending on what the setup is. And then I'll draw my support lines. I'll draw my resistance lines, and then wait for the market to open. And then when the market opens, if it hits the resistance line, I short it. If it breaks down, I add to the winner. And depending on what type of setup it is, I'll go in heavier or I'll not go heavier. And then by 10:30 a.m., I cut off my trading, walk away, and that's it.
Yeah. I love it. Step by step. In terms of the filings, for example, what sort of process in terms of length of time do you think that takes for you?
So back in the day, there were not many resources for filing. So I had to go individually throughout each of the filings, look at the 10K, the 10Q, the 424, all these different things. But now there's a company called Dilution Tracker where you sign up and like it does all the work for you.
Right.
So the problem is now that everyone has that edge. Yeah. So that's the problem, right?
More people.
What's the barrier to entry? Like $100, right? Let's say whatever it is. Like, so now my edge of understanding company filings is now readily available, which makes it a lot more crowded of a trade. Mm-hmm. So you can't just rely on the filings, the fundamentals of the stock. That's why I'm looking at the news, the daily chart, the pre-market chart, the everything. I'm trying to paint the picture of the stock. I'm trying to see what is this company. Is it a stock that ran up 2 weeks ago on the same news? Is it a stock that's low on cash? Do we know that they need money desperately? They're gonna do dilution, raise money. The stock price is gonna go down. So I'm very